Hello friends. So today we'll go for a discussion on the first point on the topic derivatives. It is a derivative of composite function. So we got the new syllabus from this year, and the first topic in second section is derivatives. Already we have seen the first part of derivative in 11th standard. So it is one of the very important topic related to the further studies in mathematics as well as physics, chemistry for engineering students, those students who are going for BSc. So before starting the derivative, we must know the importance of this topic. So every branch of science needs the derivative. So just here we will start the discussion on derivative. Okay, so let us start with quick revision on derivatives. So we have studied the definition of derivative, two definitions there. First definition is derivative by first principle for a function y is equal to f of x if this limit delta x tends to 0, f of x plus delta x minus f of x divided by delta x, if it exists, then it is called as derivative of f of x. And the notation used here is either it is denoted as y dash of x or only y dash, or f dash of x, or d by dx of y, or d by dx of f of x. So these are the different notations. And Leibniz has given another definition: if the notation used for the numerator, that is difference between the values of y coordinates, is denoted by delta y, then we will get the second definition. It is given by Leibniz definition of derivative. So if we consider delta x is small change in x, then y changes by delta y. Instead of f of x plus delta x minus f of x, the notation used is delta y, and then this limit, if it exists, it is called as derivative of f of x. So already we are familiar with this concept, we have seen it. So quickly I am revising it, and within these two definitions we can observe that delta y here in this notation or in this definition is the difference f of x plus delta x minus f of x from previous derivations or previous definitions. Okay, so using these two definitions we have derived some formulae in 11th standard. Quickly we will see those formulae. Derivative of standard function LIATE, these are the 5 types of functions, and out here we are not considered I, it is inverse trigonometric function in 11th standard. L stands for logarithmic function, A for algebraic, T for trigonometric, and E for exponential function. So just we can see these formulae which we have studied. So 5 formula. First is derivative of constant is 0, derivative of x raised to n is n into x raised to n minus 1. These are the two algebraic functions. Then derivative of a raised to x is equal to a raised to x into log a, and derivative of e raised to x is equal to e raised to x. These two are exponential function, and derivative of log x is 1 upon x provided x should be greater than 0. This is the logarithmic function. So it covers the 3 types of functions a, t, a, e and l. It is algebraic first two, then next two are exponential function, and the last one, fifth one, is logarithmic function, and we will discuss about the trigonometric function formulae. So student must be ready with these formulae. So next two formulae are derivative of sin x is cos x, derivative of cos x is minus sin x, derivative of tan x is sec square x, derivative of cot x is minus cosec square x, derivative of sec x is sec x into tan x, and the last one is derivative of cosec x is minus cosec x into cot x. So these are the different formulae, 11 total formulae for derivative of standard functions. So we'll move forward. We have algebra of derivatives, that is derivative of sum, difference, product and quotient, we consider any two functions u and v as functions of differential functions of x. If y is equal to u plus v, then derivative of sum or difference can be expressed as sum or difference of the derivatives d by dx of u plus or minus v is equal to du by dx plus or minus dv by dx. If it is plus on left hand side, then on right hand side you will get plus. If it is minus on left hand side, you will get minus on right hand side. So next formula is derivative of u into v. There the derivative of sum and difference can directly be expressed as sum and difference of the derivatives, but derivative of product and quotients are not following the rule. The rules are different, so you must remember these rule properly. Derivative of product can be expressed as first term into derivative of second plus second term into derivative of first. So in the words also you can remember this. Now the third formula, or we say fourth formula, is y is equal to u divided by v. Again, v should not be 0 here. The formula is derivative of u divided by v is equal to v into du by dx minus u into dv by dx divided by v square, or you may use the notation dash, v into u dash minus u into v dash divided by v square, or you may remember in words, it is derivative of quotient or division is equal to denominator into derivative of numerator minus the numerator into derivative of denominator divided by denominator square. So the student must be ready with these 4 formulae plus previous 11 formulae. So we'll start with derivative of composite function now. Now composite function means, simply speaking, this is a function of function. Already you have studied composite function in the topic functions in 11th standard. So this is a function of function. In a function we know that y is function of x, y is equal to f of x. So y is function of variable x. But if y is function of some other function of x, then it is called as a composite function. For example, if we consider y is equal to sine of log x, instead of y is equal to sine x, we are saying y is equal to sine of log x, then it is called as function of function. Composite function is the composite function. Here we know y is equal to sine x is a standard function, or log x is the standard function, but instead of sine of x we have log x, it is function of x. So inside any standard function, instead of x we have any other term containing x, then it is called as composite function. For example, if we have y is equal to sine 2x only, then also it is composite, because x is replaced by some terms containing x. Simply we can recognize the composite function. So if we have such function, then it is called as a composite function. And now we will go for the formula for a derivative of such function. So we will see the theorem. We consider y is equal to f of u is a differential function of u, and y is equal to g of x is differential function of x. Then y is equal to f of g of x is composite function of x. See this function, composite function y is equal to f of g of x. Now we have called this g of x, or we have used the notation for g of x as a u. So this function reduces to the form y is equal to f of u. Now both are simple functions. Then we are getting the formula, because we know that derivative of y with respect to u is dy by du, derivative of u with respect to x is du by dx, and y is function of x, so its derivative will be dy by dx. So we have the relation between these three derivatives, that dy by dx is equal to dy by du into du by dx here. So we will go for the proof. So already we have gone for the proofs of 4 theorems in 11th standard, and there are some similarities and differences in the statements of the proofs. Proofs are there. So we'll see what is the similarity and what are the differences. If we remember all the similarity and differences, it is very easy to remember the total proof, because we have only, totally 3 proofs here in 12th standard. So we'll start the proof. Here we'll consider, or it is given that y is equal to f of u is differential function of u. So, it's symbolically what it means? It means dy by du exists. Similarly, second condition is given that u is equal to g of x is differential function of x. That is what? That is du by dx exists. So, this is given in the statement. So, we will consider a small change delta x in x. So, delta u, and because of this, because u is function of x, so whenever x changes, u must change, but y is function of u again. So, whenever u changes, y must change. So, because of the change delta u in u, you must get some change in y, and it is denoted by delta y. So, if this delta x is very small, then delta u will be very small and delta y will be very small. So, simply we are getting, if delta x tends to 0, then delta u must tend to 0 and delta y must tend to 0. So, this is the first part, we must remember this in proof. So, now we will move to the next part. From algebra we have, so this delta x, delta u and delta y, these are the changes, means these are the numerical values in x, u and y. So, they must satisfy all the relations of algebra. So, from algebra we are getting this delta y divided by delta x is equal to, so if we have a ratio of any two numbers, then we can multiply and divide by any non-zero number, then we are divided and multiplied by delta u here. This is a simple relation, algebraic relation it is. Now, the next step we will go for, we will call this as equation 1, and we will take a limit as delta x on both sides. So, taking limit, now we will get limit delta x tends to 0, delta y by delta x, this is the left hand side, and right hand side we will take direct limit, limit delta x tends to 0 of the bracket. What is that? It is delta y by delta u into delta u by delta x. Now, on right hand side we will take the separate limits on of both terms. So, we will get no change in left hand side, only we have separated limits on right hand side, limit delta x tends to 0, delta y by delta u into delta x tends to 0, delta u by delta x. In the first term we have delta y and delta u there, and the conditional limit is with delta x tends to 0. But already we have mentioned one statement. What is that? When delta x tends to 0, delta u also tends to 0. So, in the first term, now we can replace delta x tends to 0 by delta u tends to 0. So, we are getting now here no change in the left hand side, limit delta x tends to 0, delta y by delta x is equal to, now we are changing the first term only, limit delta u tends to 0 of delta y divided by delta u into, no change in the second term, it is limit delta x tends to 0, delta u by delta x. We will call this as equation number 2. So, this is the second part, core part of this theorem, and this part is changing for each theorem. Okay. Now, we will move to the third part of proof of this theorem. Again, we will come back to the given statement, as y is equal to f of u is differential function of u. Already we have mentioned that dy by du exists. Now, we will use the Leibniz definition of derivative here. What it says, this dy by du exists, but its value is equal to, by Leibniz definition, this limit delta u tends to 0, delta y by delta u. Okay. So, we are getting here it is dy by du is equal to limit delta u tends to 0, delta y by delta u, and it exists according to given condition. Now, we will move for the second given condition. What is that? U is equal to g of x is also differential function of x. Then by Leibniz definition, what we are getting, du by dx exists, and by Leibniz definition du by dx means limit delta x tends to 0, delta u by delta x. Now, see, if we use these terms in equation 2, then the first term, or equation 3 gives the first term of LHS and equation 4 gives the second term of RHS, sorry, not LHS, it is RHS. So, the equations 3 and 4, what they gives? They gives that the RHS of equation 2 is finite, and whenever RHS is finite, LHS must be finite. So, equation 2 is such that its RHS exists, so LHS exists. And what is on LHS? It is limit delta x tends to 0, delta y by delta x is on LHS. But by Leibniz definition, what is it? It is dy by dx, and by above two relations, this limit also exists. Now, as these three are existing, we can replace the limits by these notations now, or notations of derivatives. These derivatives are existing. So, we will use equations 3, 4 and 5 in equation 2. So, see what we get. LHS limit delta y by delta x is replaced by dy by dx. On RHS, the first term limit delta y divided by delta u as delta u tends to 0 is replaced by dy by du, and the second term limit delta x tends to 0, delta u by delta x is replaced by du by dx. So, we have completed the proof. Just we will revise this proof quickly. So, I will bring all the terms together. First, we have seen the statement y is equal to f of u is differential function of u, and u is equal to g of x is differential function of x. Then y is equal to f of g of x is composite function of x, and dy by dx is equal to dy by du into du by dx. What we have to prove? So, in proof we have consider the first statement, given statement y is equal to f of u is differential function of x, that is du by dx exists. The second is u is equal to g of x is differential function of x, so du by dx exists. We have considered delta x as small change in x, so u must change by delta u and y must change by delta y. So, whenever we consider delta x tends to 0, delta u must tend to 0 and delta y must tend to 0. So, from algebra we are getting this delta y by delta u can be expressed as delta y by delta u into delta u by delta x by multiplying and dividing, or dividing by and multiplying by delta u there. We will take, call it as equation 1, and we will take limit as delta x tends to 0 on both sides. So, we are getting this limiting term. We will separate limits on two terms separately on RHS, and so just we will change limit delta x tends to 0 by delta u tends to 0 in the first term on RHS, and we got this as equation number 2. Limit delta x tends to 0, delta y by delta x is equal to limit delta u tends to 0, delta y by delta u into limit delta u tends to, delta x tends to 0, delta u by delta x. And now we will move here. Y is equal to f of u is differentiable function of u, it is given. Then by Leibniz definition, dy by dx, it is dy by du is equal to limit delta y by delta u. It exists because of given condition. Secondly, given that u is equal to g of x is differential function of x, then this du by dx exists, and by Leibniz definition its value is limit delta x tends to 0 du by dx, and it exists. Now, using equation 3 and 4 in equation 2, see what happens. Now, you can see equation 3, 4 and 2 together on the screen. So, the RHS of equation 2 is finite, because the first term exists means it is finite, second term exists means it is finite. So, RHS is finite, and now because of that the LHS is finite, that is the limit on LHS exists. And so, limit delta x tends to 0, delta y by delta x exists, and by Leibniz definition its value is dy by dx. So, we will call it as equation number 5, and now using the symbols from equations 3, 4 and 5 of derivatives in equation 2, we can replace the limits by the notations of derivatives in equation 2. So, we will get dy by dx is equal to dy by du into du by dx. This is the proof. So, I think the proof is very clear now. There should not be any doubt in this. A student can easily write if this proof is asked in examination also. So, now we will go for one example which will illustrate this formula. But before that, we will go for two notes there, how we can use this formula to solve the example or to find the derivative of composite function. So, first note we will go here. This above formula can also be used like this. See, what is the given function? Y is equal to f of g of x. Now, when we are finding the derivative, what we have to do? We have to go for f dash of g of x into g dash of x. See how we can remember this. So, when we are differentiating a composite function, take the derivative of outer function, it is f, derivative of f is f dash, and keep the inner function as it is in that. So, f dash of g of x into multiply it by the derivative of inner function only. It is derivative of outer function keeping inner function as it is into derivative of inner function. So, this gives directly the derivative of composite function. And the second note, suppose we have a function of this type, y is function of u, u is function of v, and v is function of x. Here we have three functions, where y is differential function of u, u is differential function of v, and v is differential function of x. So, if we combine all these three functions, see what we are getting. We are getting y is equal to f of g of h of x. Once again, y is composite function of x. So, now question is how to find derivative of such function. So, as y is function of u, see, we can find the derivative of y with respect to u, it is dy by du. But at the same time, u is function of v, so we can find derivative of u with respect to v, that is du by dv, and v is function of x, so we can find derivative of v with respect to x. But in the fourth case, y is composite function of x, so we have to find the derivative of y with respect to x. So, now we have four derivatives here, and the relation between these four derivatives by above theorem can be written as dy by dx is equal to dy by du into du by dv into dv by dx. So, y is function of u, u is function of v, and v is function of x, and we are taking the derivatives of corresponding dependent variable with respect to its independent variable. But the independent variable in first case is becoming dependent variable in the next case. See the interesting thing. So, this formula is also known as chain rule. Now, using the note 1 or method in note 1, we can find the derivative of this function like this also. See, y is equal to f of g of h of x. So, as we have discussed, dy by dx will be, first we have to differentiate. Now, the outermost function, it is f only. So, it will be f dash, and we have to write all inner function as they are, that is g of h of x, f dash of g of h of x into, now remove the outer function f and differentiate the remaining function. Again it is composite g of h of x. So, differentiate the outermost function, outer function, it is g dash, keep inner function as it is g dash of h of x into, now remove g also and differentiate h of x, that is h dash of x. So, see how interesting we are getting this relation. Dy by dx is equal to f dash of g of h of x into, now f is removed, go for the derivative of next function, it is g dash, keep h of x as it is, into, now remove g and go for derivative of h, it is h dash of x. So, we can use the chain rule in this form also. So, by one example we can get the clear idea of this. So we'll consider y is equal to sine of tan of x. Sine is operated on tan and tan is operated on x. So this is composite function. Now here for the first method we will call this tan x as u. So u is function of x now. So this y will reduce to sine of u because u is tan x. Now both are simple function or standard function and we can find their derivatives. So we are getting now derivative of u with respect to x, derivative of tan x is sec square x, and we are getting derivative of u y with respect to u, that is derivative of sine u. Y is sine u, so derivative of sine u is cos u. Now by chain rule, dy by dx is equal to dy by du into du by dx. So using these values we are getting dy by dx is equal to dy by du is cos u into du by dx is sec square x. And so we are getting this is the derivative, but u is introduced by us. Now we will remove it. So we will replace again u by tan x, and so we will get the formula like this: dy by dx is equal to cos of tan x into sec square x. So this is the derivative of y is equal to sine of tan x here. This is by first method. Now see what we can do by second method. Just you can think for half a minute how we are getting this. As we have discussed, we have to go for the derivative of outer function, derivative of sine only, keeping inner function as it is, and then we have to multiply by derivative of inner function only. So see how we are getting that. Derivative of outer function, derivative of sine is cos of, you have to keep tan x as it is, into go for multiply by derivative of the inner function, derivative of tan x, and we know derivative of tan x is sec square x. So we are getting it as dy by dx is equal to cos of tan x into derivative of tan x is sec square x. So both answers are same here by this method. So I hope you got the idea. Now just go for the exercise on derivative of composite function given in the textbook. Before that, just see the solved examples given in the textbook. They will also help you to get the clear idea of that. So with this we are going to close this article. Now if you have any doubt, ask through the comment on this channel. You can share this video to all the students of 12th standard science students, and if you are satisfied, definitely like it, subscribe it, and you can recommend to all your friends or students. So with this I am going to stop today's lecture. Thank you very much.